Hi folks, JP here from the podcast. Just to let you all know that the podcast is sponsored by AB Entertainment, and the AB stands for Mr. Alec Beveridge. It's a DJ and entertainment business. Alex is on Facebook and Instagram, and you can hit him up through the WhatsApp for any bookings on 07845 746 092. And also folks, the podcast has taken on a new partner, and we're partnered by MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. If you want any jerseys, or if you've got any memorabilia sitting around you want framed or anything looked after that way, contact John Mullaney, and you can get him at johnmullaney0971@gmail.com, or contact him on his mobile 07835 072 582. And here at the Unrestricted View, we hope you're all enjoying the content, and if you are, please like and subscribe. It's free to do so, and also share amongst your Celtic family as well. Hail, hail from all of us. Yes, and good evening, and welcome back along to the Celtic Unrestricted View. It's myself, JP, and joining me in this fine Monday evening is my good man, Mr. Ryan Clifford, and my other good man, Mr. Alan Stirling. Alan, I'll come to you, mate. You've not been on for a wee while, mate. It is really good to see your big face again. I've really missed you. Well, I don't know if I have or not. We'll find out tonight, but... No, I definitely have, and it's good to see you back on, big man, and it's good to be about you again, boys.
I know, thanks, hope you're well. Very glad to be back on. I've missed it. Just to let the folks know, just let Ryan and JP all know pretty well. Had a few kind of family problems, and about 4 years ago, my brother-in-law was diagnosed with motor neuron disease. And sadly, a few weeks ago, he passed away. It's just been family first instead of kind of the podcast. So very glad to be back. Hopefully in the near future, we're going to be trying to raise some money for the charity motor neuron disease, possibly, because it's obviously a horrible disease that you really wish upon anyone. And through a platform, it would be nice to kind of do a bit of good and show that we're caring parts of the community. But as you said, first of all, it's very glad to be back. You miss kind of having a rant about Celtic and venting or kind of celebrating, whether that be that's the case one of these times. So looking forward to the night, totally.
No, as I said, mate, it's good to see you. Obviously, we've known about your ongoing issues for some time. Ryan, obviously that's mega for Alan there, because to be fair, I wasn't expecting Alan to say what he's just said there, and obviously we've known about his issues, mate, for some time, and obviously people in the chat and stuff and in the comments from previous podcasts for tonight have been asking about obviously where Alan's whereabouts and how he was and stuff, so it's obviously good that Alan's now put him in the picture and kind of put everybody in the loop of what was going on.
But overall, mate, it's good to be back on with yourself and all, mate. It's good to see you. You feeling recharged after a wee holiday?
I would say so, mate. Obviously, after 2 or 3 days, you're like, right, I want to get back to it. But it's always good. It is always good to kind of recharge, mate, and go again, because I know it's. I know people might just think it's just on a platform, but it is a lot of work you do during the season to try and kind of do this, and you're trying to arrange stuff, and obviously, like Alan mentioned, their family issues do get in the way, and sometimes that is kind of things that do get involved with what we're trying to do here. So it is good to get Alan back on. Obviously, we've had loads of chat with Alan dialogue, but obviously, really unfortunate news of his brother-in-law. That disease is it's very rare, but it's getting more popular, if that makes sense, in terms of how kind of bad it is, and obviously there's no cure. So again, best wishes to Alan and his family. Obviously, we spoke to him very, very much over the last few weeks, but I know a lot of people have been asking on the platform when we've been on how Alan is and what's up with him. So obviously that puts him in the picture, and I hope Alan, everything's okay with you, mate, going forward. And like you mentioned, obviously for the charity, hopefully we can do something for that as well going forward in the future. But yeah, JP, obviously it's good to be back on. But Celtic, there's not too much yet, as we were kind of hoping to get a wee break, and boom, everything to speak about, but it's kind of not been the case. But with Celtic, there's always something to speak about. New season, pre-season starting very soon. Some of the players are back, the manager's now back, as we've seen today. So it's good to get back into it, mate, and start again as we left last season as champions, and hopefully we can end that season as well the same, mate. And it's good to be back on as well with yourself and the big man, and hopefully we can start a successful season tonight.
Yeah, well, that's it. And obviously, I was away with the family. Had some really good time away. Good time to just relax my brain, stop thinking about Celtic for 2 minutes. And although it didn't happen, because I was still texting you too, and things that were happening, and possible links and rumours and all sorts of stuff going on. But it was just good to switch off for a wee bit. Obviously, away for us, as you mentioned, Ryan, there's a lot of work goes into what we do, mate, and how we go about doing this. And you're constantly on your phone, you're constantly on the laptop doing things, and yeah, it was just good to get away for doing that. As Big Rab says, I'm really sorry you were left with something else to watch, mate, rather than us three or us two or whatever you mean by that message. But everybody needs a break, Rab. They really do, mate. Like I say, there's a lot goes into it. What you guys don't see behind the scenes, a lot goes into it. So we only did, I think that's the first kind of proper break we've taken away altogether. I think last year it was only just a few days, and then we were back at it. But no, I definitely felt the benefit of that break, that's for sure. Like you say, Ryan, we're back at it now, mate. So the content will be flowing, hopefully, as we go. Message here for Celtic fans view. He said, any views know of the game on Friday night will be live on Celtic TV. It is. Yes. It is on all of Celtic's pre-season friendlies are going to be shown on Celtic TV. But obviously,
you need to travel outside the UK.
But that's what I was going to say. Obviously, for anyone who wish to tune into that, you cannot do so in the UK. You need to travel out with the UK to have the viewing pleasure of Celtic TV. None of us would know anything about that, I'm afraid. Ryan, do you know?
£20 flights to Paris.
£20, just jump on Skyscanner and get yourself over.
A guy called John, I think he deals with all that. I mean, can I go to him watch the football? But we don't deal with that, you know what I mean? That's not something
I can't tell. That's as far as that goes. Just John. That's as far as that'll go. We're not going out. He doesn't do like street parties and all that. And
we don't deal with something called ITV, IPIS.
Is it IPTV or something? I don't know. Something like that.
I pay my license now, mate. I watch the BBC.
I'm right through. I'm right across the board, mate, because my missus wouldn't have it. So Definitely.
I just like to watch.
My missus going to be doing me. Honestly, my missus going to be doing me all that box set stuff to watch, like Housewives and all that kind of stuff, and binge
I
watch
just
all that.
watched
But
Homes
just
Under the Hammer because I seen an episode today that it was a stadium on the other side of Glasgow they were looking at. It had a bit of subsidence in it, so they were trying to do it up, get it with the promo materials and that. So
who was it? Was it Dion Dublin? It was on it today. Was it Dion Dublin? It was on it today.
Aye.
Standing at the wee snack bar with a bacon roll and a cup of tea.
And even better after that, it's what's that TV show, man? They all have a challenge to try and get the best auction. What do you call that?
Bargain hunt.
Bargain hunt.
Big David Dickinson, then he sells it for £1.
David Dickinson stoning me a mask of Craig White.
£1 done.
Aye. The hospital bed wheeling up with Charles Green lying in it. Kidding on, he's no well getting interviewed with Jim White.
Sorry,
doesn't it? Aye. I would never put MD through that, honest, I wouldn't. Aye. No, I never saw that. I'll need to try and get that on catch up, Al. That sounds pretty interesting, that, mate.
Aye. No, there's a statue of Louis Walsh kicking about that as well, so...
right. Aye. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Aye. Although they spelt pop star wrong, apparently it says Pop Tarts, doesn't it?
Aye. Sorry.
There's a photo at the back end of it of Keith Duffy.
Brilliant.
Aye. Singing a chorus, you're flying without wings. Brilliant, mate. No, as I said, lads, obviously, Fabe have been away to now. There has been all sorts of rumours, and Celtic are obviously back now, but they're back in pre-season. We've seen John Kennedy's interview, obviously in Sky, and he stated that obviously the return from the boys that were away on holiday is obviously going to be staggered. Alan, what I think was quite the highlight of that interview was the fact that he mentions about recruitment, and he touched upon it, saying that there's going to be action happening over the next week or so. He said it in a manner that it was like an informed opinion, you know, that he kind of knew what was going on. What was your take on that, mate, when you seen the interview?
Aye, mostly managers or assistant managers, they'll try and give very, very little away. So it's all kind of cloak and dagger stuff. Aye, I might be right, Nick. It's all cloak and dagger stuff. I don't think it's probably the best way to do our business as well, that no many people know what our plans are.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's well publicised, we've seen it in the past that other clubs can come in and maybe gazump the player that you're looking for. I think it was well publicised that Ben Davies before that we were going to be signing him in a pre-contract. Thank God.
Before we get gazumped?
Liverpool. That last day they didn't even play for Liverpool, but that can happen when these kind of things are publicised. So it's better doing my business kind of behind closed doors and make sure that we try and keep it as quiet as possible. This day and age of social media, it can be difficult to keep it under wraps, but we try our best. So hopefully we can see a bit of movement in the next kind of week or two, because I think we all know there's a few positions that definitely need filled, none more so than at least one, probably two goalkeepers that need to come in. So I would hope to see that we start getting a bit of movement in the next kind of 10 days to 14 days maximum, because if it doesn't start by then, I think we're going to start slight panic stations going on, because it's nearing kind of pre-season and the start of the season. You would ideally like a few players in, especially before we leave for the USA trip. So we can only put trust in in Brendan and put trust in whoever's in place now, the recruitment team and the board, that they're going to do it properly. So hopefully we get a bit more juicy gossip and some good news within the foreseeable future.
Yeah, definitely. I do apologise to everybody that's watching us just now due to the conversation that was taking place earlier on with obviously Alan telling us his backstory, his wee bit of absence for the podcast and that there. I do apologise. I've actually, because of tuning into Alan, I've missed quite a few comments. And obviously, Alan, you've had quite a lot of well wishes from people. And I think I put one up a moment ago. There was quite a lot of messages there for different folks. So I do apologise. I wasn't up to speed with putting them up as you were speaking, Alan. But because obviously then we went on to start talking, you started mentioning about Homes Under a Hammer and things happening across the road. Ryan, you stopped laughing because he's being serious. Aye. Obviously, I do apologise. I've not been able to kind of keep up with the chat. But I hope everyone's well. I hope everybody that's tuning in tonight, I hope you are all well also. Because that's the most important thing. That's why we do this, as I've said many times. So, all in all. But just touching on the John Kennedy thing, Ryan, I think a lot of Celtic fans were surprised that it wasn't Brendan that was doing the interview. And, you know, I think certain Celtic fans, I don't want to say they're panicking, but certain Celtic fans are questioning now, like, what's going on? We're now at the 1st of July, and up to now, all we've really, we've not really heard anything. Like, there's been a couple of drops in the ocean with this and that, wee bits of information, but we've not really heard anything. I think Alan makes a great point there, Ryan, as well. It's also a great thing that Celtic have done for a number of years now. Quite a lot of their business, they've done it. They do it behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And the media, like, start doing the guesswork and start using, you know, I call it lazy journalism. You know, they just start putting two and two together and coming up with six and making up their own stories. Not that they've got previous for that or anything, but all in all, that could be a good thing for Celtic as well, to do their business silently. And then all of a sudden, I think me and you spoke today, mate, was, you know, Jota, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Giakoumakis were all announced like the same day. I think it was it last year we announced, I know obviously it never mounted too much, but we announced Narotsky, Yang and Kwon pretty much close together as well, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's, you know, I've seen comments like Stevens there, you know, quality takes time to sign them and get them over the line, but I've also heard excuses about the Euros and stuff. We might have signed players for it. Well, there's only 12 teams left in the Euros now. So unless it's guys for Germany and Spain and, you know, I think that excuse for me is going to start wearing thin. But again, you need to kind of get the balance right. But I think if you're signing players and you're doing it behind the scenes and then all of a sudden Celtic are going to come maybe, just say for talking sake, Wednesday, Thursday this week, and all of a sudden, boom, there's about 2 or 3 signings being announced. I think that'll totally lift the full Celtic support. But then again, I'm thinking to myself, will it? Because it doesn't matter who Celtic sign. A lot of people tend to try and find fault with what the kind of signing is, or whoever it's going to be. Or so I think it's one of those ones, mate. I think you're never going to please everybody with recruitment, but I think a lot of Celtic fans are just wanting their fix just now. I think that's what we're seeing now. And I can understand why folk are thinking, you know, what's going on? We're now in the 1st of July and we've not heard nothing. We've only heard wee guess stories for the media and nothing really concrete's came to fruition yet.
I think I can understand fans are getting frustrated because one, it's pre-season, the season's finished, there's nothing really some fans, or the majority of the fan base, me as well, but the majority of the fan base, they just want a fix. They want something to speak about, something to get excited about. They want just something about DUBRAVKA or whoever it is, brilliant he signed, like, brilliant, now we can do research, we can get excited, we've got a goalie, we've got a defender. It's a wee bit of that as well. It's a bit of frustration through that. We just want a signing. But sometimes you've got to be realistic as well. Signings do not just happen at the click of a finger. There could be stumbling blocks, it could be family reasons, it could be wages, it could be agent fees, it could be loads of things why things don't done right away. Yeah. But at the same time, I do get the frustration because there should be bits and bobs that I'm not saying guys can have for mega money, but there should be some sort of signing in place at least for pre-season, or at least the first game of pre-season, or even the Queen's Park game. I'd like to think there'll be a new signing potentially soon because I want us to be prepared for this European League type thing. I want us to be prepared for it. None of this having to sign somebody a week before the season starts, and then you need to bed them in and they're not ready for European football. The first game of the Champions League has to be ideally, take away injuries, your strongest team available that you can put on the park to give the manager the biggest basis to go and do something in Europe, because we're never prepared. Even last year, no prepared. Year before with Ange, no prepared. When he first came in, no prepared. Ronnie Dyer, we're never prepared for European football. We've got the finances now to go and do it.
Ryan, do you mean, see when you say we're not prepared for Europe, do you mean like normally, because normally 9 times out of 10 we've normally get qualifiers to play, is that what you mean? Obviously now we've got that bit extra time because we're in the group stage.
We were never prepared for qualifiers, never. Every season was either beat on at the back with somebody else, or Dane Murray was beat on. We were never prepared for the qualifiers. And I think even last year with Brendan, we weren't fully prepared for European in terms of we didn't get the quality in to give the manager the best chance to go and give the best account of Celtic to try and progress in Europe. We didn't get that off the board last year. We might have got £21 million spent, brilliant, but you can't go and sign 10 and 12 players worth that money and expect every one of them to go and give a major success. That's not going to happen in football. Not every signing is going to be a Scott Sinclair or an Edward. They're not going to come in and go boom right away. I know Edward took a bit of time, but when they signed permanently, boom, the guy was a massive impact player. So I just think fans just want a fix. They just want something to like, boom, look forward to. I think I'm going to agree with you, and I think what Alan said there as well. I think if we don't get somebody, at least one signing by the end of this week and starting next week, fans will start questioning what's going on, because ideally you want at least 2 or 3 players in before you go to America. Ideally, a number 1 goalkeeper. We've been looking for a goalkeeper for at least a season now, because we knew Joe Hart roughly this was going to potentially be his last season at the top, potentially. Now, we didn't know about him retiring. I did think after this season he would potentially either be going or maybe get a new deal and be a coach or number 2, and we would need to buy somebody a bit younger to come in and be the number 1. And I still feel if we've not got a goalkeeper JP within the next week or 2, you've got to start questioning the recruitment process, because I know things take time and things don't just happen, but potentially if it's 6 months to get a goalkeeper, it doesn't take you 6 months to iron up number 1 goalkeeper. I don't care what anybody says, that's just crazy. It doesn't take you, it might take different ways of getting them through agents or clubs and try to play hardball with money, but if you want somebody, pay the money, go and get them. If it's DUBRAVKA and a free transfer or £1 million, 500 grand, whatever it is you need to pay for DUBRAVKA to get him in the door, pay it. If it's the guy, if it's a Turkish goalkeeper for Man U, get him in. If it's anybody, if you want them, go and get them. None of this penny pinching for 500 grand and £1 million. Get them in the door and then let them set one, let them bed in with the team, because we can't sign somebody with a week to go and go, right, on you go and play your first game next week. Well, there you go. It can happen, but you want to set one, get to know their teammates, get to know the structure, get to know the club, and then bed them in, ideally. So I think if we don't get somebody or 1 or 2 in the next 10 days or so, I think fans will start saying, right, we paid the season bit money, we've paid the training gear, we're bought new sticks, we've paid TV subscriptions, we've paid all this. Give something back.
It's well saying it's the summer. Somebody's on a cruise campo. What? Great having Big Alan back where he belongs, keeping JP and Ryan on trips.
Thanks, man, Joe,
it's a go for Joe.
It's a go for
Joe.
Joe, I think you better get your buggy back, mate.
Oh, no, but aye, Joe, don't bet the buggy again, mate. Don't bet the buggy. Aye. Fancy a game of cards, boys? Aye. Definitely. No, I get what you're saying, right? Like I say, it's definitely a fix what the Celtic fans are looking for. Stephen Kennedy made a comment there about in regards to other teams signing players. I don't think it's anything to do with other teams signing players because Celtic do not need to make radical changes to our squad like other teams do. However, there is an ongoing concern, Alan, that, you know, we now are significantly weaker. You know, you look at Joe Hart's retired, Adam Ida's a way back to his parent club, Paolo Bernardo's back to his parent club. They're three players right away that contributed massively and is winning the double, you know, and they delivered on the bigger occasion. I think, you know, you're always going to, for me, Alan, you're always going to get this kind of restlessness amongst the fans because, again, you've got to look at it from the outside as well. As a fan, it looks like Brendan's now going to be left in charge of trying to do not just managing the team and coaching the team, but doing all the things in the background as well. Because one, we don't have a head of recruitment. Two, the head of recruitment's right-hand man is also away as well. So someone that could have been left with those duties. I think I've seen today that we're still using the chief scout, the boy Louvre, as well, for duties to help with Brendan Rodgers and Michael Nicholson. We're also, as far as I'm aware, Brendan's brought in the boy Cooper to help ease the workload a wee bit in terms of using his contact list and helping Brendan out with that. So I think it's overall, Alan, that, for me personally, I'm not panicking just now. I'm not, there's not an element of, you know, panic from me. But I do understand certain, you know, thoughts from the fans. I do understand certain bits of restlessness coming from the fans because of, we're now in the 1st of July. I've just mentioned 3 guys that have now departed for last season's squad. And obviously, you look at, you know, you've got Hatskabanovic away as well, and there's now talk of the young lad Rocco Vata now exiting the building and going to Watford, supposedly in a 4-year deal. So, to add all that in, with no business being done, I've seen a photo earlier on, I think that's been from today, and it's obviously Brendan Rodgers is now back with the party. You would like to think, as Ryan said, Alan, we've got a friendly on Friday coming up against Ayr United, mate. And I know Francis Leicester's concerned there about Scott Bain, you know, having to play in the friendly. I don't even think it's one of those games, man. For me, you could play Scott Bain at left back. I don't think there's an immediate worry or concern there that it's not like we're losing 3 points or we're getting knocked out the cup or we're, you know, that's not going to affect us at all. But I do understand. What's that?
Play Connor Goulton and goal.
Yeah, you could play him and go. He's not a bad goalie, by the way. He played a back seat for that mob across the water a few times, hasn't he, and got away with it. So, but overall, mate, I do think that, you know, these kind of games are games you'll get away with doing that. But I think after this week, maybe into next week, like Ryan says as well, and some guys in the chat, I do think then you need to start picking up momentum, picking up the transfer business and starting to motor ahead.
Aye, no, completely. We can get away with saying it's a fix maybe this week, but by the time it gets into next week, we're looking at panic stations starting to kick off because at the end of the day, and when you look at last season, whatever it may be, whether if it was just an off night, we we get put out in the third game off of Kilmarnock in that League Cup, and that took away the chance they win the treble. So we need to be the best preparation possible coming into a new season, and for going into this new season without an established goalkeeper is number one. That's our first kind of protocol that needs remedied straight away. We need to make sure that we've got kind of important players going through the spine of the squad that are in, and we can bed in these kind of players so that they're ready to rock and roll by the start of the season. But I think they're saying that there's no a complete overhaul, but as we spoke about in a pod kind of just before the season ended, I think all the players that we thought would maybe leave the building, you've discussed there kind of Paulo Bernardo, Adam Ida, and Joe Hart. I think we named about 12, 14 players that we would actually like to get out with them. I think it was included was Haksabanovic, so I can see quite a sizable overhaul within the squad. I think there will be more leaving than there is coming in because we have got quite a bloated squad. But I still think there is improvement there to be seen. We can improve massively in every position, but there is certain positions that you look at and you say we definitely need a bit better there. Especially if we're going to kind of make any impact or the most impact that possible in this new format of the Champions League. So I think it's imperative within the next week or two that we do get a few players in, and hopefully a couple of players that are going to be more or less starters. You're looking at the goalkeeper right away. I think that's, everybody knows that's the most important position that we need to fill. We need to get it right. But on the other side of that, there has been time there, and we need to get them in and bed them in. We can't just kind of sign somebody a couple of days before the end of before the start of the season, throw them in, and there's no time to kind of get to know their teammates, get to know the dynamics of the football club, get to know tactics, etc., how the manager wants to play, whoever that may be. So I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt for the next kind of week or so, but after that, I think we need to start asking questions of what's actually going on here, because we can understand that it does take time to sign the right people, but I think after next week that time period's maybe up for, in my opinion, that we need to start pushing on and get these players in that we need for the upcoming season.
Yeah, and talking about pushing on, Ryan, it's been widely now reported, and different outlets now on social media are reporting it getting closer and closer. Corvo, the last time we were speaking to, reckoned that, you know, it was destined to come. And it is the man, basically. It's in the banner that everyone sees there, Martin DUBRAVKA. Now, obviously, Martin DUBRAVKA was representing and was the number one for Slovakia, who narrowly missed out and going through last night against England, and obviously find themselves now out of the Euros. So, what's your thoughts on the goalkeeper? Obviously, DUBRAVKA, and do you think that's a possibility of being close to being done?
I think it could be possible, because like you say, Newcastle are wanting him kind of out the door with the looks here from what we've seen on a lot of sources. He wants to go as well because he knows he's going to be number one next season. He knows he won't play a lot because they've just signed John Ruddy. They've got Nick Pope there. There's talk about him signing Trafford. Don't know if he's signed yet, but there's talk about him going.
I think they did sign him as well, Ryan, didn't they?
I think DUBRAVKA's they're trying to be about the door. And plus Newcastle need to sell players or get guys off the baseball and get a bit of money for the financial fair play. So they'll try and get people out the door if they can. And I think the looks like DUBRAVKA will be one of them that will go. I would take him for, I would say, a season. I think he would do you, JP. After just for talking sake, we try to get, I don't know, just say it was, who's the Man City goalie? Ederson, right? Just say it was him, right? I know it's not him, right? But just say it was a Man City goalie that we wanted to try and get.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get him this season. But we've been told, listen, he'll come next season. The deal's done, but we want for this season, right? You would take Dubravka for this season, knowing that for the next 2 or 3 years, you've got a quality goalie to come in that can then push you on, right? Yep. But ideally, you want a long-term plan. I don't see Dubravka. I know he's only 35, but 35 is no crazy old, but it's getting old in terms of football stage. But as a goalkeeper, he's still a decent age. You can still maybe play till he's 37, 38, whatever. But ideally, I don't want a Celtic goalie at 36, at 37. I just don't think, that's just me personally. I wouldn't mind a goalie at 30, 32, 31 because still got a lot of time to go in terms of goalkeeping. But I would take him for a season, I think, JP. If he comes, you'll probably sign a 2 or 3 year deal, or 3 year deal probably. And he'll come with a decent wage packet, probably, because he's come from down south. So I'd like to think if he's coming, he'll be either my number one or he'll be getting told, he'll be getting rotated because of how many games we've got. So I think I would take him, JP. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. He commands his box very well. He's very vocal. He does make the odd wee silly mistake with the box feet. I've seen that against Belgium. But I would take him for a season or two, JP. But I think as a fan base, it doesn't scream long term because if Dubravka was your main target, I personally think he'd be done by now because he's been known for a while that he was to leave Newcastle at the end of the season. It's been known that he's been kind of trying to get a club, but it's been known down south that he's not going to be there next year, number one. And he's not involved in Newcastle at the moment. He's in the Euros, so he can still, like you say, the Euros thing could be a wee excuse for maybe a week or so, but no, it's no excuse because Aston Villa signing guys during the Euros. You've heard us signing guys, so why can you say it? So it's. I would take him, JP, but he wouldn't be my. Again, I'm not going to sit and say who do I think's my main priority because I can't see I've no got a goalkeeper in mind who I think's the best goalkeeper. Because I'll be honest, I've said it before we stopped. Goalkeepers isn't my. I don't really know a lot of goalkeepers that I would go and say I'd take him. I want him. It's no a position where I know a lot about. If I'm being honest, I know certain goalkeepers who play with certain teams. He's good. Or like David De Gea, he's good. Trafford, he's all right. So I know things like that, but I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint a goalkeeper. Overall, yes, I would take him, mate. But I just think it's a fan base. It wouldn't scream longevity. It wouldn't scream a long-term plan. It doesn't scream thought out. Even though he was spoken about last season, he came out and obviously says he was talking about it last season. That's made me think. I don't know what you think about this, JP, right? But this is making me think that he's been on Celtic's radar for a while because Joe Hart was the same the year before. Neil Lennon wanted Joe Hart to the 10th season, and then Ange got him in the next season. So as he can, us Celtic got Dubravka on the list already, and he's one of the main targets. Now they can get him now a year later, and now they're going right. Now we can get him on the door. Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of is new.
Yeah, I don't think this is something new, Ryan. I agree. Obviously, we know about last year as well, so I don't think this is he's just all of a sudden became a new target of the club.
I think he's been in the list because I think, obviously, if you watch Someone Till I Die and you know roughly about scouting and players in football, teams have got a list, so they might have 1 to 5 players. So if the main guy's not available, they'll go to second, third, fourth, and then they might get the fifth. Because that's the thing as well. See some of the guys we've signed, like maybe Yang or Holm or Hassan, whoever it is, they could win the third or fourth choice. But we don't know that. We don't know if Celtic are missed out top targets. We don't know that. So, overall, I would take him, mate, yes, but I think you would want a number 2 who's either just as good or it's going to take over him maybe next season because Scott Bain's not going to be here. Number 1, he's hardly number 2 choice.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think he's just here to help behind the scenes and maybe if an emergency, he's there to take over. But I think Seagrass is want to go and play football. Fair play to him. He's not happy sitting on the bench or in the stands. Fair play. That's the attitude. I like his attitude. He wants to go and play, which is fair enough. So, 2 good goalkeepers, JP. Dubravka, yes, but I don't think it screams longevity, mate.
Yeah, I get your thoughts on that, Ryan. Jerry Burns has made a wee comment there. He says, what's the thing about goalkeepers in their mid-30s? We should be looking for younger keepers. Well, our fans right now are screaming out for experience. And DUBRAVKA ticks every box in that mould. But not only that, he's a top, I've said, I'll go back to it, I'll say it again, he's a top-level Premier League goalkeeper. Any Premier League club they knew would be lucky to have a goalie like him. And I'm talking about in England. So for Celtic to bring me a chance, if there's a distinctive possibility that we could be signing a guy of that ilk to replace Joe Hart. Now, bearing in mind, the Celtic fans wanted Joe Hart to stay on, and DUBRAVKA's younger than him. But they were wanting Joe Hart to stay on as the number one goalie. But because Joe Hart's decided to move on, Celtic fans are now saying they don't want DUBRAVKA because he's 35. That to me just doesn't make sense, Alan. But not only that, mate, like I says, he ticks every single box in that he's experienced, he's played at a high level, and he's played international level football as well, and at big tournaments. So, like I says, mate, I really don't think. And the fact that people say, you know, he's only going to be here a year. You know, Joe Hart was in a similar situation, and we get 3 years out of him. So for me, 35 isn't a guy who, and DUBRAVKA certainly performance level wise, going with what I saw against England even last night, he certainly hasn't shown a goalkeeper that is quickly declining in his performance level. And he's still able to concentrate and do it at a very high level. And he showed against England that he's very commanding in his area. And I think that was one of the questions the last time we were on here. Somebody was saying, I don't really know much about him, but is he commanding? Because we've not had that with previous goalkeepers. But for me, Alan, I've shouted him. I can't go against it now, because for months and months and months, way before we'd even heard that Joe Hart was retiring, I had a conversation. I can't remember if you were on that night, Alan, but certainly Ryan was. And a guy comments in here's Corvo. We were all having a bit of a laugh, but I was kind of half joking, hell earnest, when I was meaning, no, I want DUBRAVKA. He'd be my next choice of goalkeeper if anything was to happen to Joe Hart or Joe was to then move on. So I'm afraid with this one, mate, I need to sort of double down and get in his Jimmy Calderwood rosary beads and start rattling them about in my pocket and make sure that signing gets done, big man.
I was kind of on the fence where I'm probably 60-40 against it, to be fair. I think getting at that age, it's just not a contingency plan that we should be looking at, especially when we've had this time for Joe Hart. We knew he was going to retire. I'm not one of the guys that. Joe Hart has got a great connection with the Celtic fan base, but when you look at the quality of the goalkeeper that he is now, I still think that we could do better. It's always human nature. All players, and that's including goalkeepers, all human beings decline with age. Whether that be your reaction time, whether that be fitness, how quick you are, etc. We all decline, and it's just kind of mother nature. And for the fact of the matter is that all I've been seeing kind of online is a lot of Newcastle fans saying that he's declined over the last year or so. So ideally, we've had enough time to kind of scout and study the market and see who our number one target would be for the goalkeeping position. I would ideally want a guy that's maybe between 28 and 32, and that gives you that experience as well. That gives you that kind of, he's been there and done it at a certain level, but he can still be with us for the next 4 or 5 years. He can still be with us for a significant period of time. The only way that I would be on board with DUBRAVKA coming in is if we bring in a reasonably good second choice goalkeeper that's younger, that can slot in when that time comes, if DUBRAVKA signs, when he leaves. So if that be a year or two down the line, that we've got a ready-made contingency.
Sorry, Alan, I'm just
plan
looking
back
at
in.
Monty's comment there. He's put up his bio that's on Tinder as well. So he's copied and pasted his bio into Tinder into this
I know what
podcast.
that is. That's one of the blue pills, but that's why it is. That's the difference between 52 and 22.
Monty, you do notes a new season, mate. I'm taking on new clients for the half 10 show, mate. Fire in. Let's go,
batter in, mate. Batter in.
Man.
You get a wee.
He does. All you need is a salmon hoodie.
Ryan's that batter. Ryan's that batter, by the way. It's not a blue pill, it's a green pill you take on this one.
Monty, I've got the baby oil just in case as well, mate. So we're all sorted there, mate. We're all sorted.
It's about the site. Hey, come on, you.
Oh, brilliant.
The signing overall is just a bit. It's a bit blah. I mean, I think we could probably push the boat out and do a bit better. I think he's obviously at an age that the only way is kind of going to go down. I'm not doubting that he's played at a reasonable level, but is he still at that kind of capabilities at this stage?
Well, you watched him yesterday, so surely you must have seen him.
But you can't take a basis of an opinion off one game. What I mean, you're asking the fans of a team that's seen him for the last kind of number of years, and they're quite overwhelmingly they're saying that he's been on the decline for the last year or two. So I would personally, I'm not going to moan if he comes in because he's got a pedigree that could work out reasonably well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, when I look at ticking boxes like you were saying, that age does the tick boxes. Consider the period of time that we've had knowing that Joe Hart's going to leave. I think that we could have went out there and looked at somebody that's got experience but still got at round about that kind of 30 mark that we know that's going to be capable of being the Celtic #1 goalie for the next kind of number of years. Well, DUBRAVKA's case at the minute, that's the side I'm not seeing. So just need to wait and see. It could be nothing at all. It could be just rumours, and we could pull somebody else completely out of left field. So we just need to kind of wait and see, and kind of trust the judgment of Brendan and the people behind the scenes.
You used to that, aren't you? Pulling people in fields. But well, that's a different story for a half 10 show. That one, I'll tell you. Ryan got all excited there when I said that.
I was just thinking I could eat more grass at night, you know what I mean?
That makes a change for you smoking it.
I look at my eyes, look. So the ones, get them out,
Look at you. Look at the state of your couch.
Pump this egg.
Pump this egg. Brilliant. Superb.
I think
listen, I get your thoughts, Alan. I totally do. Sorry, Ryan, I'll let you in a wee second, mate. I get your thoughts on that one, Alan. I can get Celtic fans thinking on, DUBRAVKA. Myself personally, I've watched him mega. As guys are said, he's making a wee joke there saying I've got a score on the bookies with bringing DUBRAVKA in. I've just watched him. I've really liked him. I remember the first game he played for Newcastle, and I just liked him instantaneously. He reminded me slightly like Boric. He's also very good at saving penalties as well. And, I think that's what, obviously, the gaffer, Brendan Rodgers, that's what he must see in him as well, because with this modern technology up here, we have had quite a lot of penalties given against us as well. So I think we need somebody that's competent enough to stand up to that. But not only that, I think it's, Ryan, as you said as well, mate, this isn't the first time I've came across DUBRAVKA. He's certainly in a bracket that the club have now been looking at for some time. I really do think that every player we've been linked with have all played at the Euros, or they've all took part of some sort at the Euros. And for me personally, and this is just my personal opinion, I think DUBRAVKA is a better goalie than any other one of the goalies we've been linked to so far, for what I've saw. And I've seen DUBRAVKA more than once, so I've had a right good look at him. Don't forget, I know he was out on loan to Man United as well. And Man U don't come sniffing about you if you've not got something about you. That says his international career, superb. But again, he's probably at a stage of his career as well, guys. He's probably not won a lot of honours, and he's got that opportunity to come up here and do that, and playing the Champions League as well. Surely that's a massive draw for him now. So, see, in all honesty, in terms of the link itself, mate, I'm just really not surprised at all.
I do think he is on Celtic's radar, because he did mention, obviously, that there was chat about it last year. It didn't happen. It was similar to Joe Hart. Joe Hart said the same, but it didn't obviously materialise. So Celtic he's obviously been on. Listen, I know the media and the press put out sometimes just random names and stories. They take off things like this. They take off Kerrydale. They take off loads of things and they just make up a story about it. It's all hearsay, but sometimes agents put things out as well. That's what fans need to remember. This is a time of season when maybe guys are good Euros or there's an interest in players. They just put a link out. Oh, a partner agent says Celtic want them. Rangers, Aberdeen, St Mirren, whatever it is. And then teams go, oh, well, I want him then. I don't want him going there. So this is where likes and rumours and whatever else can just be hearsay. But I do believe he's on Celtic's list. He's one of the guys I do feel that he is on the list, because his name's been very, very prominent in a lot of the sources. But I've always said, until a real inside proper source like a Romanov or a David Austin or Anthony Joseph, who we know he's very reliable, until guys like that report it, then I'll kind of sit back and kind of wait until it happens. I know we spent a lot of money in Barkas, but when was the last time that we actually properly went and spent money on a goalkeeper, like proper money? We didn't spend a lot of money in Foster, didn't spend a lot of money in Boric, didn't spend a lot of money in... There you go. Aye, but take away Barkas, we've not really spent money
probably big Boric.
Aye, but I mean, series though, like series, a £7 or £8 million goalkeeper, real quality goalkeeper.
No, we've never spent that on a goalie now. So we spent about three. Was it just under £3 million on Big Boric?
I'm sure Gordon was £1 million a free transfer. He wasn't a lot of money, Gordon.
I think he was a free transfer line. I don't think he cost us anything.
Forster was 2 loan deals, wasn't he? Is that correct?
Right.
Roughly.
No,
we took. Did we not take Fraser Foster in permanently?
We bought him after the loan for Lucas. So it was £2.5 million. But
right, so
I'm about a week away if you want Doris to Fries back.
We've not really spent
just for the sake of signing.
I don't think we would do it right, but I'd like to think
at this rate I'm ready to phone my grab.
For us to have a solid goalkeeper for years to come, I don't see people moan about the wages and paying the money, right? But we've got to get to a level of some capacity to some sort of. I know we've gave guys new contracts and broke the wage structure on that side, but for signing players, we need to tweak the wage structure and the bidding kind of model to get quality players. And we can't.
Well, the wage structure's been tweaked, hasn't it? Because obviously they had to do that to give the kind of squad assets, the new deals that they're on.
People say we can't spend money, right? Celtic can go and spend £8 million a striker. They can do it. And they can go and pay them 40 grand a week wage. They can do it with the money. But you've just got to make sure the guy's going to be a success, because if you pay that amount of money for a guy that's not going to really hurt the mustard, it's another Yeti, £5 million, maybe 25 grand a week, no playing. So I know every signing can be a gamble, but see if you sign somebody that like a DUBRAVKA or an Adam Meader or Bernardo, whoever it is, people that you know of, you know they're going to come in and at least give you a contribution. You know it's no the biggest of gambles like Jan, Awata, they guys are gambles because you don't know anything about them. Kyogo was a gamble. They were all gambles because we didn't know about them. We were lucky enough that Ange knew how good they were. So this is the thing.
They were gambles to us, but they weren't to him.
That's what I mean. But the thing that's getting me kinda a wee bit, I wouldn't say excited, but kinda a wee bit of trustworthy of Brendan's IP is because the names that we were linked to are all kinda experienced, quality Premier League foreign players. That's what's getting me thinking that Brendan's kind of take control. Hasebanovic just said that the board wanted to stay. Well, no, that's the truth. It's probably just a partner shot to the club. But he says the board said we wanted to stay, and Brendan says no, you're off. That's giving me a bit of hope that Brendan's taking the shackles off and saying, I'm the fucking man here. I'm dealing with it. I'm taking control. It's kind of giving me a wee bit of hope that if Brendan's saying cheerio, then he's taking control. So that's what's giving me a wee bit of the signings could be quality. But for me, I think we need 4 or 5 at least. And like Alan says, impact. I'm not saying £10 million each player, but £4 or £5 million for every one of the players that are going to come in and be quality. Because
is that guys that are going to come in and give Liam Scales a horn? Is that what you mean?
Somebody take care of Liam Scales. And somebody take care of Greg Taylor. I'm telling you, honestly, I know we have banter.
He's started that again this season.
No. I know we have banter.
Season's not started yet.
I know we all have banter on the guys that chat and some of the females that chat on Twitter. We all have banter about Scales and Taylor and Ben. But see, at the first league game of the season, if we start with Greg Taylor and Liam Scales centre-back, the recruitment team deserves sacked. I'm telling you.
I think Greg Taylor will start, right. I think Taylor will start the season.
It'll be Domestos.
Aye.
I do genuinely.
I'm not saying Greg Taylor's not a good player because they play at that level for a long time.
I do think he'll start the season though.
You've got to be a good player to play with Celtic at that level of the week, right? But in my opinion, Greg Taylor has hit his ceiling. I don't think he's going to improve any more than he is. I think he's a steady Eddie good player, right? And that's domestically, I think he is where he is. But European level, if we can't, again, this is no disrespect to Greg Taylor because he's doing well better than I've ever done in my career. But I'm not talking about for a fan, and I just want better. If we cannot buy a left back that's better than Greg Taylor to move us forward in European football, at least help in European football, then I don't know how you're going to improve. And that's not on Greg Taylor, that's on the recruitment team and the club. If Greg Taylor's going to be the left back for years to come.
Well, what about Brendan, Ryan? Because surely the decision's down to him and who he plays.
What I've said to you is I questioned some of his decision making last year. I didn't question a manager. I just questioned some of his decision making. I'm going to start questioning it again if he keeps playing Scales and Taylor.
You see him further going on in the season. Liam Scales started the mistakes started kind of coming more into his game. I think it was the Aberdeen game, wasn't it? The semi-final. There was a few ones.
Alan, do you think that was due to the fact that he hadn't signed his new deal? Because for me, when he signed the new deal, his performance levels then got better.
I've said it all along, right? I'm no down in Liam Scales. He's done fantastically well for the situation that he was in. He was on loan at Aberdeen and nobody thought he would get anywhere near the Celtic squad. I mean, the Celtic first 11. He's done fantastically well. But at the end of the day, I don't see him, if we are trying to progress, if we are trying to make any sort of impact in Europe, if we are trying to win treble after treble and continue the kind of domestic success that we all strive for me, we can do a lot better than Liam Scales. I'm not saying I would think he'd be in the same kind of situation as the likes of Anthony Ralston. There's 2 rounds now. But I would like to see Liam Scales and Greg Taylor as really decent squad players, as good backup. But I think we are definitely in a financial situation and a position with winning trophies that we can look to kind of improve, especially in the positions. You always look to improve every position, but I think the left back and centre half, I think they're kind of crying out that we definitely need a bit of improvement. There is other positions within the start 11 that I think will need improvement, but if we're speaking about Liam Scales and Greg Taylor, it's not a downer on them. I think they've done brilliantly well, but as I've said and Ryan's kind of reiterated there, I think they've kind of hit a ceiling of where they can get to, and I think as a club we can have more ambition than starting Liam Scales and Greg Taylor for me.
No, I understand that, but they also, both of those lads were a massive, a big help to us last season and winning the double as well. So you've also got to say that and applaud that, because, like say Liam Scales, I think he played, barring maybe one game, I think he played most of our season last season for us. And, he played in games where Cameron Carter-Vickers wasn't fit enough to play in, and he had to play in a lot of makeshift defences, but he was the kind of constant that was always in the kind of back four himself. I don't know if, I understand, you're looking for improvement, which is fine. Obviously, he's been given a new deal as well. The manager obviously thought he was up to that as well, and he's given him a new contract. So we can only see what's going to, stand in the future for us. But at the moment, obviously, whether we like it or not, lads, these guys will report back to pre-season training, and they will be there. They're under kind of deals. I know Greg Taylor's contract's running out, so yeah, it's easy to say that, Francis. That's because we nobody else. We did have other people. Norotsky and Lagerbielke were there, and Liam Scales was still being selected over those two. And bearing in mind, Celtic paid nearly £8 million for the other two lads. I think quickly Brendan understood who was more dependable and who could play and who wasn't up to it. And the guys that weren't in the team were the guys who, I'm afraid, weren't up to it. That's the way Brendan works. He doesn't just pick guys because he thinks they can't do the job. He obviously trusted Liam Scales last season also to go into the Champions League and play. I don't think it would have mattered who played in the Champions League. We've played, we've had guys like Van Dijk playing for Celtic in the Champions League. It just Celtic's European, run has been abysmal. We've had really good players in the Champions League, albeit we've had really good results in the Champions League and in Europe as well along the way. But the consistent level of dull performances have been there for everybody to see. And we've had better players than Liam Scales in my squads when we have taken those beatings as well. Jota was part of the team that we lost 5 over in the Bernabeu with a Celtic team as well. I know Jota scored that night, but we've had really, guys that we would call quality play for Celtic and still go to other teams and get leathered. But yet these guys like Liam Scales and Greg Taylor and Anthony Ralston and other boys and so on, they're the ones that are more hang out to dry. Not the other big boys that, we would call our main assets. Cameron Carter-Vickers gives the ball away, we get beat by Lazio. He starts that, if that was Liam Scales that done that, Celtic fans would have wanted him hung.
But see on that, we did criticise, especially myself on this, we did criticise a bit last season about Cam McGregor.
I'm just talking about in general, Ryan. They just seem to take Mary ado now for fans than other guys.
I said that to you last season during the pod as well. The reason they don't get criticised all the time is because they don't do it all the time. And when it happens, it's like, okay, right, don't do it again. But then when they do it again, it's like, again, people might think it's small things that I maybe be. Again, I know I didn't play the level of playing it. I'm only seeing it for a fan in the stand, right? When you see people making silly mistakes at that level, when they can't, and then it's going to build, and it might happen. And then, like I did say, it nearly cost us the semi-final at Aberdeen. That's the games that you don't want it to happen. And if you keep doing the simple mistakes wrongly, it's going to build into a big thing. It's the one at Ibrox, Celtic Park. Dessler scores that, it can be a totally different game. We don't know that. But that's the mistakes. I know any player can make mistakes, but it's the small mistakes that build into massive mistakes. And that's the only reason I want is to just get that out the door. Because I think for European football, again, you can back me, JP. Again, Ralph has been brilliant, came through a youth system, on loan, didn't play, came back, he's worked himself up, got to the Euros. I know at the Euros you get a hard time. Right or wrong,
by the way, he's not the only one. Callum McGregor got a hard time as well, just because both of them played for Celtic.
John McGinn wasn't up to it, Andy Robertson wasn't up to it, but they'll blame the Celtic was. But we could go on about it. I wrote it on Twitter, and people, I couldn't care what people say, but I know I'm making what I'm saying. McGregor get ridiculed because of a Celtic player, not because he basically played well for Scotland.
Well, the level of disrespect that was shown towards him to a guy in Graham Souness was just astounding for me, you know.
But in terms of, I'll let you on this, mate, and then you can know what I'm on it. The European side, Ralphie's, what he's done is it's been brilliant to get to where he is, right, and get to Euros. But similar to Greg Taylor and Scales, I think he's hit his ceiling. I don't think he's going to improve. He's just a steady Eddie, guy that come in and play, maybe domestically, help you out, put it all in. He's fit as hell. He'll definitely give you something and domestically. But if we go away from home, or even at home, against these opposition Europe with Scales, Taylor, and if AJ's are injured with Ralston, we're going to get scalped. We're going to get scalped. And that's me being honest. I'll put it right, we will get scalped, especially away from home, because we get exposed. Last year, we'll get exposed again. And this is, like you say, we need to improve. We had
Kieran Tierney and we get scalped down. So, you know, and Kieran Tierney's probably light years ahead of Greg Taylor. But 100%. At the same time, Tierney played for Celtic, mate, and we took downs.
You just want, like I said at the start of the pod, see if the manager gets signings to help him get a better basis. See with Keaton, Ralston, Taylor and Scales as part of the full squad in terms of don't really add to that. You're not giving a manager the basis to go and improve. He's just going to stay here and he's got to try and do what he can. There's only so much you can get out of a player. And then he goes, right, I'm done with you. I can't improve you anymore. And that's just my opinion on Ralston, Taylor and Scales. I don't see them improving massively to go, wow, they're going to be Celtic's defenders for years. I just, like you say, mate, it's all about an improvement, and it's bang on what you said in the first bit. Well, because it stands at the moment, so you're hoping by, like we've all said, in the next 10 days or so, we're a bit more stronger, because the manager mentioned depth.
Yeah.
When they first came in at the start of the season, he spoke about being purposeful, being strong, being physical. We've still to see that yet for this Celtic team under Rodgers. So this is, I feel, JP, that if he doesn't get, I think I said it last season as well, if he doesn't get the players that he wants that are purposeful, strong, like physical, that he likes to play football,
I
think he's off next season. I know he's said about commitment, and if he's not getting, he needs to make Celtic, I'll say, a mark in Europe, because I think domestically it kind of takes care of itself. I don't think he'll be here because he'll get sick of it and go, well, I'm wanting this, I'm giving you this, and you're not giving me this. What's the point of sticking around just to win the league? That's no a manager that Brendan, that's what he's able to do. He's able to potentially take you forward, and I just think, mate, that if he's not going to get what he wants, I think we'll be able to tell during the season and in the first few weeks of the season, if he's no got what he wants, I think you'll see his pressers. I think you'll be able to tell.
No, I get that. In terms of Europe, mate, I think you need to be realistic in terms of what mark you think Celtic are ever going to make in Europe, because the finances alone, the gap between us and the rest of Europe and all the big guns in Europe are, like I say, it would be like Leicester winning the Premier League again. You know, I don't know what kind of dent in Europe the Celtic fans realistically think Celtic could do, or what they're going to do.
Scalped. You're not getting absolutely scalped. Like 5,
well,
6,
we put an end to that last season by winning in the Champions League. So
no, really, we get scalped 6. Well,
one game we get scalped.
Aye, I know.
Well, we get beat. Well, but we won a game in the Champions League, and we haven't done that for 10 years.
Still.
So it's, you know, you've put an unwinning run, a stop to an unwinning run that you've not won a game in, and you were able to do that against Feyenoord, who have now lost their manager to become the Liverpool manager.
For me, it's just the point of not getting in and getting absolutely embarrassed. You look back all the years, you look last year, Atletico Madrid, 6-0.
But is that what the Celtic fans are wanting? Celtic just not to get embarrassed? Because I keep hearing making a dent in Europe, and I'm kind of wondering what kind of dent do you think is going to happen?
Right, we can't get beyond ourselves. It needs to be slow progress, but I think that's where we spoke about it a number of times last year, and I've made my opinion pretty clear that we need to set up completely different. we can't continue getting in and think that we're going to play football against these teams and run all the tap of them and play them off the park. We need to set up the way kind of Neil Lennon did as well. Take me tips for that kind of time. The first time around. So for me, if we can pick up a few points and make some progress then, but don't get absolutely hammered. Honestly, see the lack of morale that must cause within the team and within the fan base as well. Every year we're getting in and getting an absolute scalping. Just keep that down. See if you can go to Atletico Madrid. I don't care if you're hiding behind the couch and watching it, right? If we went to Atletico Madrid and it was a 1 or 2-0, you'd be like, right, fair play here. At least we're not getting absolutely embarrassed.
Surely that's on the players, though. Surely the onus is on the players. The onus is the manager's not setting the team up to say, I want you to sit negatively off the ball.
But he's setting them up a full 3-3, but that's just disaster. That's Looney Tunes. I know Brendan's what he is. He's an elite manager, and I'm never going to question him, right? But you cannot go to Atletico Madrid with the team that we've got and play full 3-3. That's just it can't happen. He done it in Barcelona. He played with 2 winners. He went to PSG, played with 2 winners, and then we went 1-0 up, and he played the same formation. It doesn't take rocket science. You change it. If you need to go to 5 at the back and you can beat 3-1, fair enough. We can bump 7-1 because he kept the same system.
It's more down to manpower and all that. You've got to have the appropriate manpower to be able to go and set up the shape.
I get that, but that's like Ali says. That's when he's got to buy the players to combine a few systems. So in the league, you can go full 3-3.
You look at the flip side of that. Celtic have got an identity of the way they play. They're not doing all of a sudden just because we're coming up against Atletico Madrid, going to save ourselves. We're going to change it, boys. Everything I've coached you the last couple of years, you know what? We're not doing that now. We're going to do this. The players are not happy. It's going on.
Upon B, upon C, right? You do need to change it. You can't be naive enough to go up and say plan A or do plan A better. That's the way that Michael Beale was, and that's how you get the bullet, right? So
it's not like Michael Beale though.
No, but we need to have different sets of tactics, right? All players can adjust to different sets of tactics. We can set up differently.
We're flexible.
Well, you're saying we play the same way. We refuse notice, so we need.
No, we play an attacking brand of football. We're not all of a sudden going to stop that and go, oh, do you know what? We're playing Real Madrid on Wednesday night, so we're going to. What we're going to do is everything we've done. We're just going to sit in Marine Hof and hope we don't get layered.
You can tweak it to go like a counter-attack. So when you defend in numbers and you get behind the ball. When you counter-attack and you can press, you go. But for me, we just go gung-ho. We cannot go full 3-3 against Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, even Arsenal, Man City, because we'll get absolutely embarrassed because we've not got like you say, the manpower to defend a full 3-3. We've not got the manpower to do it. We've just not got it. But that's why if you've not got the manpower, if you need to go to a 5 at the back, then you need to do it. Like Ali says, I will hate watching it. But see if we come out with a draw, or we come out with a 1-0 defeat, like, you know what, fair play, they worked hard. But see, the thing that annoys me was Europe, JP, right? And we still say McGregor's brilliant, even with Scott Brown and Kyle, Jota, they're all good players. But make simple mistakes abroad. Like,
but that's the thing, we think they're good players to get into Europe, and then you know.
And it's not even like, I'll always take my hat off to teams when they play it through you amazingly, one-touch football, because they're too quick, and I get that, but see when you're making silly mistakes like getting the ball away, that's when you're thinking, right, but we'll obviously talk about Europe longer term, but I think that's just for me. I just want us to be a wee bit more, just give the manager, it's just give the manager a basis to go forward. I think the basis, I just want the team to get a basis again, the board being a manager, a basis to at least help us Europe-wise, because I think domestically takes care of itself in terms of the manager. I think you'll be able to deal with domestically, but it's the European side I want us to try and, I'm not saying you need to go and spend £20 million a player, but I know it's hard because you've seen down south, Newcastle spending 30 million, Chelsea spending £28 million in guys who are not really playing every single week. So for me, I just think just give the manager the best we can to try and progress.
we need a bit of savvy as well, a bit of streetwise, a bit of sense as well. We can't go in continuing to think, oh, we're going to outplay these teams. So it's a combination of everything. It's a combination of the manager's tactics, that players need to be doing the basics properly, that the recruitment team need to be doing everything properly. So it's a domino effect that if you get if you get the first few things right, then usually other good things follow for that. So let's just concentrate on the kind of important things and start getting players in the next week or two, because we're having nightmares about Scott Bain being in that goal, and we'll all be going for a shot at it if we don't sign a goalie soon. So right, we could get on to Europe later on how we do that. Let's deal with the basics first and start getting the players we need in.
Yeah, I think European football is definitely something that's way down the line, because that's not until in September, and
we were sitting outside Celtic Park doing the content with a motor bleach him to beat 5-0. Oh no, here we go again.
Aye, starting there with a box of Kleenex.
I know, aye, we'll keep that side. Rephrase that. Tissues for crying.
And when will Barry be back on, guys? Good question. We tried to get him on tonight. Unfortunately, he's a busy man. He's feeling a wee bit under the weather. Obviously, they've just started back pre-season as well with Sheffield Wednesday, and try to get back into the swing of things there. But Baz will be back with us pretty much sooner rather than later, I would imagine, because he says millions of times he misses being on here as well when he's not been on a wee while. He's had quite a busy summer with his family and this is just honestly, just because you back a guy, right, and you say, right, guy's a good player, and you know, you start seeing, you know, the Mark McGee crowd coming out and having a go at you, and
the Bravka was at the Euros for JP last week. JP broke into his house and stayed there for the week.
I did, and it's not that as well, Plunge. I've got a nice new cardigan for you as well. It's not got any bean stains on it, so I'll drop it after you the next time you're at Paradise. The next time I see you, I'll bring it with me, hopefully in a chance of meeting you, mate. But I've seen a few comments here about JP. I think Jerry was saying there JP was on the phone to DUBRAVKA. Me and Martin are tight, don't worry about it. He'll be here just after his wee break.
I'll try and see if Mendes can get word in from me.
Get Mendes on the phone to find out what's the score with Jota, because I heard they're trying to get him out the door for the European quota now as well, which is bizarre, absolutely bizarre. They paid 25 million for the guy, and they're now wanting him out the door, which is crazy.
That's not in there, Maggie. You 25 million all there for your play piece in the morning, man.
I know.
That's buttons, man.
I know.
I was lucky if I get 25 minstrels off my mom for a play piece, man. You know what I mean?
I think the only reason Jota comes here is if he takes an unbelievable wage cut. But again, I think it's just like you mentioned in the first bit of the pod, mate. It's just lazy journalism.
I think you just need to give him happy hour every day in the Brazen Heat.
I think it's like you mentioned, mate, in the first bit of the pod. It's just lazy journalism. We're going to link ex-players to us, Edward, Tierney, Jota. There's always Robbie Keane was linked for years. Bellingham was linked for years. There's all these guys that always get linked, and I think, like I know Alan says about signings. I'll get your thought on this, JP. I do agree with Chris. I think it was Chris Adams who put a comment on earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's waiting to get a lot of money or guys after baseball first before he can sign guys, so he can. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's something you guys
great mind think alike. I was just about to say that to you. I really do think that could be another possibility. You know, he could be waiting to people exit first. Obviously, we know Haksabanovic is away. I really hope what he said is true. Do you know, I was thinking about that more and more when we were chatting about it today, Ryan. I really hope what he said. I know, looking between the lines and the thing about that is it's nonsense what he said, right? But there's wee bits of me that just hope that that's true. Aye, I really hope that's true. I really, really do. I hope it was the board that wanted to keep him, and Brendan put his feet down and says, "No, you're mince and you're moving on."
See if the board want to keep him, right?
No so much a board, it'll probably be the recruitment staff or the scouting staff or whatever.
But then you've got to say, which at the club, are they all on the same mind frame? Are they on the same rhythm? Are they on the same hymn sheet? Because if three guys are saying to the manager, "No, I want him to sign," he's saying no, then he's getting him under his, he's working with him. So then he's got to decide that if he's not wanting that sort of player, but they are, so what sort of players are they scouting for us in? That's so Hasselbank is kind of, whether or no as a part shot, mate, I don't know if it's a lot of rubbish, but he's kind of putting a wee feeler here. Listen, what is going on behind the scenes? Is Roger saying, "I want this guy," and they saying, "No, you're getting this guy"? Is this why he's gone, "I want quality, I want this, I want that," because he don't get that?
Well, Alan, I've said that to you, and like the last time me and you were on together, and I said that it just appears that there seems to be hurdles getting put up in front of Brendan along the way, because, how many times did he mention the word quality just last season between the two windows that happened, and he was dealt with Marco Tilio, who, when I saw the guy play, he looked like Wallow Flood's wee brother. See, when you get into FIFA and you get into the edit bit, and you can edit the size of a guy, and you take it down to the lowest point, and he looks like he shares a bunk bed with Jimmy Cranky, then I really distinctively think that somebody put him in a machine and just edited all his settings and brought him down. And he just looked lost. He just looked like a wee boy on a big park. Lost.
He was smoking since he was 2.
I smoke grass.
Your granny says to you, "That'll stunt your growth, son. Don't do it." He's like, 20 a day.
No.
So, hopefully we can be positive about next year. Hopefully Brendan's had some serious words about with the people behind the scenes, and he's going to get the players and the kind of finance that he desires, that he deserves, to be honest, take the job back. So hopefully we can put a wee bit more trust into the club. We'll be let down many a times with how much trust we put into the club and how kind of confident we get about how much money we're going to invest. But it's back to that stage of the season. We can only kind of wait and see what happens and
that's it.
How much money we spend and what kind of players we bring in. So it's a waiting game for now. But I think a lot of Celtic fans are just kind of anxious and making sure that we're actually going to bring in any players, because it's been a lack of any news whatsoever coming out. So we can just see what's going to happen over the next week or two, and then see what happens up to the end of August with the transfer window.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously that's us at the end of our wee chat tonight, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Thanks very much for coming on and having a chat with us, lads. It's good to be back on and shake it off some cobwebs that have surrounded me the last week or so. Been away resting and lying on my backside for a week.
I was nice and refreshing until Scales mentioned them, agitated again.
Aye, I could see the wee change in your demeanour there. But for anybody that does like Liam Scales, I do apologise for his conduct earlier.
I'm only joking.
But he's no abductor problems this time, so Ryan's been well and truly told to stay away this time. But that's it. Listen, there's an element of excitement, I think, lads, in this. It's kind of, we're at a point where who are we going to sign? Who is it's going to be the new number one? Who's going to come in? Who's going to do this? My hope it is going to be Martin DUBRAVKA. In fact, I'm going to go and get him on FaceTime just before MD puts in a wee comment.
Martin, how you doing?
Aye, Martin. Maybe if you do a job, Martin, your mum could bring your ass for you, Martin.
Thank you, you big bags of snowballs, Martin.
I've not got an name, I've got you an Empire biscuit, Martin.
Slovakian snowballs.
Come on, Slovakian, aye.
I'll take you the West End, Martin, get you some nice
Kaiser, I'm not a betting man. I'm sorry, I'm just not a betting man at all. But I think there's might be, there's a good chance for this one. I think that we could be getting Martin DUBRAVKA in among someone else. But I think if you get Martin DUBRAVKA in, folks, just now, it then allows you to then concentrate more on the outfield players that you need to bring in and help the squad as well. Kind of takes the pressure off a wee bit as well. Probably takes a wee bit of anxiety off for the Celtic fans as well, because then we'll all know who the new number one's going to be. And a guy like Martin DUBRAVKA is not going to be a number two, that's for sure. So he'll be coming in. I think he would be the number one if he was coming in. Celtic are probably going to announce Tony Warner on a 4-year deal tomorrow. That's probably all luck. I say, Joyce, I've been a Celtic fan and been in the thick of this because Celtic are announced something like that tomorrow.
Who are we going to slaughter because we'll get a new deal?
Well, you were slaughtering Greg Taylor earlier on, so he's getting a new 5-year contract. He just get married there, so he needs security. He just get married there, he needs security. And the security is not for the 5-year deal, the security is for you turning up at his new house.
We'll slaughter that guy, man. Tell him to run down the wing and don't stop, just keep going. Keep going.
Run down the wing.
Keep going, run right out.
That's how he's murder on a plane as well. He never runs down a wing. But there we go.
Oh, no. It's brilliant.
But everyone, thanks very much for tuning in with us.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure being back on having a chat. Cheers for all the comments. We will be back again this week. There'll be another episode this week of Take Me to Your Paradise. It'll be in the video section of the YouTube channel. So that's where you'll get that episode. You won't see that live because that's obviously recorded. The boys will be back on Friday as well with all the pre-match chat regarding the Ayr United game. But for now, and the time being, a massive hail for a Monday night.
Hail.
Take it easy. And we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Oh, you can't shove the goalie in the box. Oh, you can't shove the goalie in the box. Oh, you can't shove the goalie, cause he's a holy goalie. Can't shove the goalie in the box. The real Rangers were coming once again, they said.